So welcome back to Freedom in Hours. Andy here again. Great to have you back with us today. Today we're going to be looking at how your failure makes you better. You see, a lot of people don't realise is the most successful people they've seen have had lots of failures on the way. These failures have made them a lot stronger, made them learn a lot of lessons and helped improve them in life. So today's episode we're going to discuss how we can get around failure, the things we can do to use it towards our advantage. We'll talk about examples of people that have come across from failure and how they've been successful, and how you can do it as well. Now make sure as always you like the video, subscribe to our channel, and if you're watching our podcast, make sure you subscribe to the podcast as well. Anyway, we're here in the tennis court, and again, we'll go through a bit about my story about how I managed to get through here through failure myself, and how that failure made me a lot stronger. You see, no matter where you are at life, you can turn failure around. You can learn from life's lessons and improve yourself and move forward. Anyway, let's go and have a look at now at Freedom in Hours. So one of the things my mentor John taught me all those years ago when I became quite upset is I had a number of different failures. And he turned around and said to me, Andrew, it's not how you fail that matters, it's what you do from that experience. And that really hit home to me because a lot of the time I'd sat there, I'd had a failed business, I had a failed relationships, I had all these things happening to me. I never stopped to actually think about how I could use it towards my advantage. So when John spoke to me, he said, look, Andrew, most successful people that you've heard of or that you know have all failed at some point. The difference between them and non-successful people is they used it to their advantage. So let's go and look at some people from the past. Thomas Edison, for example, he failed about 1,000 times before he created the light bulb. Incredible stuff. Sylvester Stallone, for example, you've seen in Rocky movies. He went to audition after audition after audition and was knocked back again and again and again. I mean, you hear his voice, hello, Antonio. I mean, it's not something you would really think would grab people. But in the end, he found stardom, and look where he is today. You see, most people have had failures in life. Donald Trump, he's 5 times bankrupt and became president of America. It's quite incredible. So it doesn't mean that you are stuck where you are, and no matter what point at your life you're at, you can still be successful and come back from failure. So look here where I am now. So for example, I've got my own tennis court here, I've got my own property. I mean, the place is beautiful, but it wasn't always like this. For years I remember being in my own cafe I spoke about years ago. I had a $1 million lease, and a competitor opened up directly across from me. They were given free rent. I was going to be out of it. But what did I do? I used that to my advantage. I still managed to build a successful business, which I've spoken about in other videos. But the key thing is I never gave up. I focused on what I wanted to do and moved towards it. You see, failure is only temporary. It's not always part of your life. It's what you do with failure that matters, and it leads you to improve your life. So, I want to go reach out to you now and talk to those that are going through, failure or difficult times at the moment. By reaching out to you, I want you to know that things can get better, that where you are is only a temporary point in your timeline. You see, if you look back in your life, you've all had failures and things happen to you in the past, but you're still here today. You're still living and you're still breathing. And that's because failure's made you better. If you talk about when you're a child, for example, toddlers. Now, do we get angry at toddlers when they go and fall over? Do we get angry when they go and say words wrong? Do we get angry when they get things not right? And the thing is, when we get older through life, what we do is we start to say to people, oh, they made a mistake. Oh, you got that wrong. We start to belittle people because we think that they're not doing the right thing. But the reality is, unless we're making mistakes, unless we're making failures, we're not learning. We need to learn these lessons to develop and improve in life. You see, if your life's going perfect and you're not actually learning anything and you're not developing, you're not actually growing in your life. You need to be pushing your comfort zone. You need to be expanding where you are. Thank you, Birdie, again. I love his property. It's so beautiful where I live. Anyway. But you need to be pushing the comfort zone of where you're at. And that involves making mistakes. That involves doing things incorrectly. Now, I'm not saying... See, my little birdie friend's just there, actually. So just go and say hello. Just there. There he goes. Thank you, I'll call him Tweedle. So I'm not saying, by all means, go and make silly mistakes. I'm not saying, by all means, go and take your money and spending it a fortune. But what I'm saying is you're going to need to think about what you're doing with your life and make choices and take chances occasionally. See, life's not always about sitting there and making sure that you don't push the envelope. You need to push the envelope. You need to grow. You need to develop. And that's my challenge for you. But how do we do this? How do failures make you better? Well, starting from, you need to have the right psychology. You need to start thinking of everything as an opportunity Everything is a chance to learn, to develop, to grow, and to be better. Every step you take is a step in the right direction. And sometimes you may feel like you're dropping backwards. Sometimes you may not feel like you're not going in the correct direction. But life's all about achieving and developing. So you need to keep on moving forward. Then don't hold on to failures as well. Don't sit there and go, oh my God, I messed up. I was a mistake. It was an error. No. Change your language. Now, we went through the 10-day mental challenge, which I spoke about in previous videos, where we talk about how you can change your thinking, your thoughts. So when something happens, it starts to become an opportunity rather than a failure. So I talk about my friend Geraldine. Now, Geraldine had 5 kids, single mother. She had no money. She was on welfare, and she struggled a lot of her life. But when I met her, she had a beautiful spirit. And the thing I loved about Geraldine is that she was always positive about things, and she took responsibility for what was going on. And Geraldine said, you know what, Andrew, I've had failures in my life and I've had things happen to me. But you know what? I'm a happy person. I've got people around me that love me, and I've got a great life. I just want to do better. See, Geraldine just needed the tools to be better. So, I went through my FreedomInHours program and told her what to do and how to develop it. But what she found is all she needed was the techniques to put into place. Now, because she'd failed before, because she'd lost things, for her it was a lot bit easier. She just jumped in there. There was no risk to her. She jumped in there. She was so excited about doing it. So, and that's the difference between someone like Geraldine and someone that's just lived in a 9-to-5 rat race and has never taken chances. If you don't take a chance, how are you going to develop? So, let's look at a number of things now in regards to how you can take failure, I guess, to making you better. Okay, so how failure makes you better? Well, let's look at investing, for example. Say you're a stock market investor, you go out there, you think, great, I'm going to go and buy some stocks. You see, many years ago when I was younger, I thought I was a great stock market investor. I had a couple of wins. Whoopee, it was great. So I started to make gambles on bigger and bigger companies. I went from having $10,000 to having over $200,000. And then I made some spectacular failures. I started buying options and futures. It went the wrong way, wiped out completely. But you know what that taught me? A very valuable lesson about the psychology of trading, about knowing what you're doing, about investing in what you're thinking. You see, I had the knowledge, but I hadn't learned the psychology. And despite what people had taught me, Andrew, have a plan, Andrew, focus on it, I still didn't do it. Now, did I make that mistake again? No. So that's where failures can make you better. You don't make the mistake again. You learn from the failures and apply it and make it better again. So now I'm a much better investor, and I made a lot more money investing as well, which has been great for me. I've really improved the returns. What's another way you can do it? Well, dieting, for example. Say you've done a diet again and again and again, and it feels like you've always been in this roller coaster of diets, never improved. Well, now you can learn from your failures and think to yourself, what didn't work? Why wasn't I successful in the diets? Was it because I couldn't apply myself to it? Was it the diets are too difficult? What was it? So you can start to learn from your mistakes and improve. And that's what I've done all my life. Every time I've had a failure, I've analyzed it. What have I done wrong? And learnt from it. I built a lot of my money through sales and selling. And I have to admit, I'd go into sales meetings, for example, and I was completely wrong sometimes. And it blew out of my water. But I knew that if I learned from that experience and apply myself better next time, and again, you improve. Again, looking at all successful people in life, they've had so many failures to get to where they are. You don't need to worry about failures. Use failure to your advantage. You see, as I said, no matter where you are, you can use failure to make you better. You can improve your life. You can stand there and go, I'm going to be successful from this point on. So all I can say to you guys is, to get to where I am now, you've got to have failures. You've got to trip up along the way. Just don't worry about it. It's completely natural. Anyway, check out other FreedomInHours videos regarding, success psychology, how to make yourself better, how to make money, and I guess how to have a great life. We really enjoy having you watching our videos and also listen to our podcasts. Make sure you like the video as well. And the 10-day mental challenge is quite good. If you feel that you're stuck from failing, you can't move ahead, watch that video. It will give you a strategy to take control of your mental well-being. It's just fantastic. Anyway, again, thank you for being here. Really appreciate you guys joining us today. And make sure you let me know about comments, anything you want to let me know about below. Anyway, thanks for joining us here at Freedom in Hours.